Last chance to look at me, Hector. This should make you feel better.
How unprofessional.
By the way, Denton, stay out of the ladies' restroom. That kind of activity embarrasses the agency more than it does you.
This is Snake. Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear, Snake.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Okay. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a very wonderful Wednesday morning. I half expected to kind of sleep in last night. Or after this morning. God dang it. But I was still up at my usual early hour. And I'm starting this is an hour or so later than normal. And why that is, well, in case you missed it last night, I joined the Melee Games community event of Halo. It was a lot of fun, as it always is. I always enjoy joining in on their whole video game community events that they put on, and Halo is, even though I'm not a big Halo person myself, I still need to play through the games. I think the only one that I can recall playing through was Halo Reach. And even then, I didn't pay a great deal of attention to the story. And I did play through a good portion of ODST, I believe, on like the stupid hard difficulty. I forgot where I had left off with that game. But I believe I got far into it. But I have not played through the mainline first 3 games. I think I might have played some of 4. I'd have to probably look at my Xbox achievements. But regardless of that, joining in the Melees, they have really put, James and Kay, they really put together a really, cool group of a community and everything. And their events are always stupid fun. I think I remember I said it too, I think with one of their first Halo community events they did, was that it really kind of brought me back to when I was playing a lot of online multiplayer games and with buddies and stuff like that, that I, friends that I had that had hung out with and stuff, and then had met online too, where we were playing things between like Battlefield 2142, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I mean, go back to even like it is to things like Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat Source, and all of that sort of stuff. But being jumping into those events is always really fun. And like I said, they have a really cool group that they've put together over there on their Discord side and everything, and just with their community in general. So it's always a lot of fun joining in on that, and the Halo madness is fun. We all get like kind of divided into the random teams, or however it gets sorted, which isn't by much. And we just have a blast. And we spent like, I think we were playing for a good 3 hours or so last night. And the time just flies by when you're just doing some stupid fun stuff. In that. So if you haven't gone, I have my replay of it on my channel here, one you want to, you can go and check it out. Like I said, a lot of fun and all of that. So please do. And otherwise, because like I said, we went for 3 hours 25 minutes. And it was like 11 or so my time when I finally crashed. But like I said, I expected to sleep in or something, or at least I hope so. But like it is, that old internal alarm clock still got me up and moving, or just at least up. Brain activating, like, hey, kind of like Navi. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. I'm like, all right, fine. So here we are. Like I said, I hope you're all having a great Wednesday morning so far. I'm not sure what I'll be doing today exactly. We'll figure it out as we go along, as usual. Other than, you know, the normal routine, but I know I got a few topics here. We'll see how long we go for, and I've got something in mind, but we'll see where I'm at when we get to that point. Anyway, that little rambling preamble aside, shall we dive into the usual starting topic for the day? The thing that always kicks us off. Good old This Day in Gaming. Let's find out what we got today. Okay. Wow. Here we got, starting out on the MSX, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. I remember finally getting to play like the proper version of this, I think when they released Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. And they had this on there. I still have not played all the way through the originals. I have just kind of watched the storylines just to kind of see the playthroughs and stuff like that. Because I mean, it's it definitely has its challenges for these old games, for stealth and stuff like that. And I mean, bless, I guess, Kojima for doing what he could to try and introduce that style for such a, because it's like an, I don't know if I want to say isometric point of view or whatever, but yeah, it's got that top-down style, more or less. But it kind of works out, but still kind of I don't want to know if I want to say janky, just kind of sometimes a little tough. But, you know, definitely just a continuing story for old Solid Snake there, and what took place after the events of Metal Gear. And, you know, it's the thing you don't want to put out into the universe, and there's something that I'm thinking right now, but I'm like, you know what? Even though I've got it up here in the old noodle, I don't know if I want to breathe life into such an idea, so I think we'll move on. Move on here. And we got Road Rash 2 on the Genesis. Now, this one I didn't really play myself. I just remember I hung out at a friend's house, and we were playing the shit out of Road Rash 3, which I don't know if I should wait until we ever get a Road Rash 3 to come across This Week in Gaming, or if I should just kind of talk about that now, because like Road Rash in general is just fun as hell. It takes, you know, takes it up a notch, even though you're doing motorcycle racing. You got weapons of different variety for sort of melee style combat. You got chains, baseball bats. One in particular, they had I remember they had a cattle prod, but like I said, I remember mostly playing the ever hell out of Road Rash 3. And I mean, it's still very similar looks even here, with the gameplay style here, or at least the way the art, the setup and stuff like that. I mean, it's not nothing complicated. You don't need it to be. But I just remember, like, my friend and I, we had such a blast. Definitely the names of all the different racers. We had a hell of a fun. Just like, you know, coming up with something else stupid. And all the while too, he had the comedy CD for Jeff Foxworthy. We were listening to that. We were laughing at that. We were laughing at the chaos and the mayhem of Road Rash. It was, hey, what do you know? Road Rash 3 right there. But I mean, such a fun style of game, and I mean, it kind of makes me think of other racing games in the vein of like Rock and Roll Racing and stuff like that, where you got, excuse me, you got certain things making it a little more over the top. With not only are you racing, but you're also doing basically vehicular combat, so it adds an extra danger element to it all. And so, yeah, I mean, what a fun game. It's so fun. If you haven't, definitely got to give it a shot. And definitely, you know, of course, you know, you got to involve some people. I think it's like 2-player. I don't know if it's more though, because I remember some systems like you could ultimate. Okay, 2-player racing. Before the idea of more multiplayer really got brought, but yeah. Let's see. We got Advanced VG on the Turbo CD. I don't know what this is. Advanced VG is an action game developed by publisher TGL, which was released in Japan '96. Oh, it's a bit of a naughty one. It's got that fan service there for you guys. Oh boy. Okay. Mega Man 5 on the Game Boy. Now, Mega Man is another series that I've tried jumping into and tried playing. I know I played a good bit of one of the Mega Man X games, but I am just so lost. And I remember playing a lot of, I believe I had talked about playing a lot of the Battle Network, which I first had for some reason some stupid fun with one of those. But in general, like for the mainline Mega Man and stuff, like I remember watching the cartoon back in the day and everything, but all just being kind of like, I was trying to understand some of the lore, especially like once I got to X, I was like, what the hell is going on here? What is all this stuff? But yeah, like it's not a series I really got strongly into. And I'll have to give it a go, trying to play through the games more one of these days. Going from like probably the start to however far I can get myself through. So let's see, we got Shining Force CD on the Sega CD. Is that kind of like how Nintendo always had Nintendo 64, had 64 added to the title of games? Join the Shining Force in their valiant struggle to beat back the power-mad King Eom and his invading army. To defeat his evil horde and save the kingdom of Cyprus, it will take a cunning strategy, magic spells, and even hand-to-hand combat. Let's go. Let's see if they actually have some kind of... Okay. Well, come on now. Show me some... Oh, is it like an RPG then? Oh, wait. Let me look on the side here. I'll probably... Strategy turn-based tactics. Huh. Interesting. I was almost thinking it's like an RPG or something. Just from some of these screenshots here. I'm trying to find at least like a screenshot that kind of shows off like what it exactly is. Or how the gameplay side, because this is mostly seeing right now what seems like more just kind of like story and dialogue and stuff. I'm not seeing like a menu or anything like that. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm guessing that's kind of more of the equip and stuff like that. Well, heck, I was trying to just check it out just to see what the heck it was, but oh well. It is not cooperating. Let's move on. The King of Fighters 98, the Slugfest arcade games. So yeah, we started at 36 years ago. We've gone now to 28 years ago, 1998. We went from 1990 to 1998 now. King of Fighters 99 on the arcades. The Misadventures of Trombone, PlayStation. I was gonna say, I think that's Mega Man up in the top corner there. This infamous baddies from the Mega Man series. Tron and her surf bots are on the rampage. They are up to their evil deeds again, robbing banks and unearthing the lost treasures. Various easy to play missions, all games into one. Action, puzzle, RPG, and even gambling and casinos. Oh, look at that. Master the game you are good at and make loads of money. Train your cute little serve bots. I believe I know it. Yeah, okay. That's what when they said serve bots, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know what they look like, and there they are. So I was thinking of Marvel vs. Capcom. But yeah, that's the Misadventures of Trombone. The Great Escape on the PC and Xbox 2003. Oh boy. Now I'm trying to see here. Yes. Prison, a tough German war camp during World War II. You must coordinate a daring escape and wreak havoc in the heart of the Nazi Empire. Use your wits to elude your captors through stealth and espionage episodes as you equip your secret allies' army with tools needed for this secret plot. Once you've broken through to freedom, draw your guns and blast your way through the gut of the Nazi war machine. Finally, you'll take to the highways and chases through enemy lines and on to freedom. Well, okay. Oh, do we? I always have video on no screenshots. So we'll move it on then. We got Boktai 2, Solar Boy Django, Naruto, Path of the Ninja on the Game Boy Advance. I think I might have played one of these. Yeah, I think I played this one. Alright, no. Maybe not this one, maybe another. Because I think the one I did play that it looks very similar to that was a more of a 2D side scroller. Paper Mario, the Thousand-Year Door, 2004, 22 years ago. Whoo doggy. Paper Mario, another little series I just couldn't quite get into. And it's kind of funny that I'm like, I'll bitch about art styles as well, but like this was like at least one of the things where my brother and I were in an agreement. And it's just like we just couldn't get into the whole that style of it, and especially coming off of something like Super Mario RPG, where we had it basically, yeah, it was Mario in an RPG format, and a traditional kind of that's you know, at the time Squaresoft style of JRPG. And then it kind of switched it up with his Paper Mario stuff, with his paper stuff. And we were just kind of like, eh. But maybe I'll have to give it a fair shot one of these days. It just kind of turned us off from it, and turned me off from it too, in particular. I think I've heard some good things about the 1,000-Year Door for the GameCube, and like I said, there's been more games I've needed to check out on the GameCube that I just didn't get around to when I had it at the time. So, and we got RPG Maker XP. What's the RPG Maker lets you create an original role-playing game without any prior specialized knowledge or training. RPG Maker XP is full of the functions you've been asking for, including game data encryption and scripting feature that lets you change the very heart of the RPG Maker engine. Oh boy. Whew, look at that. Improving operating environment, program can now provide support, full color display, great enhanced graphic capabilities with support for PNG, full color mode, all that good stuff. I know there's been a lot of people that have used this for, you know, kind of this starting out and making their own games. Again, it's something like I wish I dived into better, especially just kind of learn to, you know, kind of get an idea of making games for myself and kind of getting that idea. But like, I'll admit I'm no artist. I mean, even just for basic textures and stuff like that, good. Yeah, good luck. So, you know, that's kind of been the tough. Although, people unashamedly, you know, taking things like Pokemon characters screenshots and stuff and using them. Too funny. Like, I think I might have had that idea too of doing the same thing, but I was like, but if I want to put something together myself, it's like, you know, you kind of want your own actual characters and everything like that. But yeah, RPG Maker XP. When 22 years ago in Japan, Tenchu Fatal Shadows. The Tenchu series. The games that really put you in the whole idea of being I guess, I don't know if the actual idea of it and all, but, you know, definitely throws you into the shoes of being a ninja, a ninja, a man of the stealth. Man of the shadows is what I meant to say. And this is different. This, it kind of like it's kind of like Tenchu 2 in a sense, where it takes like kind of a side path. Tenchu 2 kind of took you, it was a prequel. And then this one's just kind of in between, like Tenchu's 1 and 2, or 1 and 3 actually. Sorry, 1 and 3, and brings along for Ayame, brings along a new companion, like sidekick or, you know, extra character to play as it says here, in search of her mentor, the ninja Ayame stumbles upon a burning village along with fellow ninja Rin. Ayame must employ ancient skills such as supervision, wall running, and enemy freeze to determine who is responsible for this crime. In Fatal Shadows, you can play as either Ayame or Rin in 3 gameplay modes. This time, though, you can kill multiple enemies at once, as well as move bodies and hide underwater to avoid detection. Additionally, you can pick up a variety of new weapons and items. I mean, I just know, like, definitely the ultimate of the Tenchus is probably Tenchu 3. That one was kind of also a old From Software game, which I think I've talked about this. Has been a point of annoyance for, especially with my brothers, like, because Tenchu 3 got a little bit blasted for its style of gameplay, and my brother played the shit out of Tenchu 3, and I mean, I think it's a great game too. The storyline is fantastic, but you see the gameplay style you could see as being kind of those early Dark Souls-esque between difficulty and also just kind of some of the gameplay styles and mechanics and stuff like that. And my brother's like, well, fuck y'all. We already had this shit. And the journal, especially like the journals and stuff, we're jacking off like they are with like Dark Souls and everything. He's just like, this is bullshit. Because he just saw some of the same things, but but then with Tenchu Fatal Shadows, I mean, I know he'd gotten it. I know my brother played it especially, but it just didn't have that same impression I think as 3 has. 3 is definitely just a fantastic game, and I loved watching the way my brother started implementing Rikimaru's death move in that game in particular. It was always fun. Okay, going on here, we have Izuna 2, the unemployed ninja returns. We've got kind of a ninja theme. We have Naruto there. We got Tenchu, although Naruto you could kind of debate the ninja-esque part of that one. Kind of funny, the idea of eventually all out ninja wars and shit being so brazenly out in the open. Anyways, but yeah, an unemployed ninja. Okay. Favorite jobless ninja sets the stage for old school dungeon RPG play when Sheena suddenly runs off in search of her long lost sister. Ah, an RPG, huh? Ah, Atlas, okay. It's good on the DS as well. That explains that kind of layout of it. Anyways, we got Order Up on the Wii. The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, DS, PlayStation 2, and Wii, 18 years ago, 2008. What is this, the third Brendan Fraser Mummy movie? Third or fourth? I forgot how many they actually did do with Brendan Fraser. Cause I know after 2 I stopped watching. And I could have sworn there was more. Hang on, there you go. Let's see, The Mummy. Kind of curious how many there actually were. Allegedly, they're working on a new one. Allegedly. Which, come on, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, yeah. Okay, so this is the third one, and this is I mean, allegedly, for right now, the last of Brendan Fraser's Mummy movies. I'm gonna guess kind of a third-person action. Let's see, action adventure general. Gotcha. So yeah, you know, your movie tie-in game. Sometimes those could be fun. Sometimes they could be. But I didn't remember this one at all. That's funny. Let's see, we have Fate Extra on the PSP. Mercenary Kings PC. As 13 years ago. Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, new and tasty. What is new and tasty? Rescue your fellow meat factory slaves in this nostalgic classic platformer with the latest immersive graphics and design. Once a happy floor wax what is it? Oh, is it a remake of the original? Of course. Of course they don't have oh, here we go. Huh. Yeah, I'm trying to see where... I mean, by the sounds of that, I want to say it's a remake, remaster sort of thing. Once a happy flour waxer, biggest meat processing plant, Abe stumbled across his boss's secret plans. Turned the factory's slave labor force into the latest in the Rupture Farm's tasty treats line of novelty meats. Abe now has to save his own skin from the grinders, even if simply escaping the flesh farm is the only start to his odyssey. Yeah, it sounds like it's... That's what it sounds like. Huh. Let me kind of take a look at one of the videos. Just kind of get an idea. Let's see how much this has here. I'll probably know off of
This is Rupture Farm.
Yeah, it is. Huh. How did I miss this?
They say it's the biggest meat processing plant on Oddworld.
I didn't even remember. For some reason, I don't remember hearing about them doing this.
Well, I was really a slave, like all the others.
Its intro is great, though. Dun dun dun.
That's me. My name is Abe. I was Employee of the Year. Now I'm dead meat. I crossed the meanest boss in the world.
So you get for crossing your boss, boyo.
The Gluckin. My whole life changed.
Don't piss off the bots.
I was working late one night at Rupture Farms. We used to make meat munchies.
No longer available. No preservatives. Hey Hassan, how's it going, buddy?
Pies.
And it's funny too, like a lot of these pies and stuff like that, what they're made of are things that you have to you run across as enemies in the game. The scrab cakes are like the enforcers, basically.
I thought I had a good job, but that was before I knew how we'd make new and tasty. I was still to find. The truth, it turned out. Now that would blow my mind. The Gluckins were scared because profits were grim.
How are we gonna get out of this one?
Slabs had been turning up thin.
You can see things are going south. Watch.
But Mullet was cool.
Show 'em.
He had a plan. This new kind of meat? What? It was us.
Moodok and Pops.
just had to escape. I just had to be free, and I didn't even know I had a destiny. So, get me out of here!
Yep, and you had to you eventually had to save your fellow workers and everything. Get a little like kind of possessive powers and stuff like that over the enemies, so long as they don't notice you. You just like how chant thing, and then take them over. That's only if they don't notice you. Hello, follow me. Okay. Yep. And then it was funny doing the whole chanting thing, and then the enemies with the guns would freak the fuck out. Good times, good times. I just remember just enjoying firing this up and just kind of running through as much as I could. I've never beaten the Abe's Odyssey game, but like I've played it. It's fun. Difficult because difficult with the platforming, and then just the fact that you are very vulnerable to everything. Just because, you know, you've only got certain kind of ways around capturing enemies and stuff like that to use them to your advantage, and then trying to save the other Mudokons and stuff to try and get them to safety and all of that. Like it's challenging for sure. Like I said, I remember playing this on the PlayStation 1. So good times. And yeah, so it says, man, the creature designs for this universe were so unique. Well, yeah, like a lot of, I mean, you see things that are kind of familiar in the way that things are designed, but then like it just takes such a like it has such a crazy design to it. That's great. It's a little like tentacle faces and stuff like that. It's like kind of, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like I kind of see that. But then like just the way then they take this different shape. All the like, at least they look armless. These armless looking bosses that are all controlling everything. And man, they had Oddworld 2. It's like turned into a whole series of games. I know they kind of started going into some interesting directions too. Oddworld Inhabitants. Yeah, Abe's Odyssey. Abe's Exodus was the second game. Munch's Odyssey, which is that little pissed off looking gremlin. Stranger's Wrath. Yeah, because then things went over to the Xbox and had some different games. Now it just kind of seems like it's been in, oh, what the hell's Odd Box? Oh, it's probably like a collection of the games. Munch's Odyssey HD. Yeah, now it's just been re-releases and looks like the remaster. Nothing real. Oddworld Soulstorm. Huh. In Oddworld Soulstorm, you pick up where New and Tasty left off. Abe has undergone an unwanted transformation from being a clueless Mudokon cog, literally about to be chewed up by the Gluckons, big business machine, into an unlikely hero, a beacon of hope. Jesus. Huh. Interesting. But yes, that was that. That came out 12 years ago for that remake. Maybe I have to look into that one. Let's see. We have the Mobile Slop, Bleach, Brave Souls. And then we have Human Fall Flat, Linux, Macintosh, and PC 10 years ago. Capcom Arcade, Second Stadium, 4 years ago. I wonder what's in this. Capcom is taking you back to Stadium collection of your favorite classic hits For 3D rendered arcade cabinets, a scanned life. Oh, what games do you include? It'd be helpful if you actually told me all the games that are included, god dang it. But I guess that would mean being helpful. Son. I mean, what's funny now is if you play like the Yakuza series, you end up being able to also play like old arcade games as they're in there as mini games. It kind of seems like what they've done with like the Sega collection and stuff, where you can get the base thing and then start buying and then getting the other games downloaded. This microtransaction to hell. I mean, that kind of fits with the arcades. Arcades were basically like microtransaction hells. Just to keep playing this stupid game, you had to keep throwing in quarters. I guess the writing was on the wall since the arcade days that they were gonna try and find a way to fucking bilk us one way or another. Hassan says Nolan should have made Abe's Odyssey instead of Homer's Odyssey. Actually, no, I don't want that. I think you'd lose all the charm and everything that made Abe's Odyssey and everything, and just replaced with, you know what? I'm not gonna. Yeah. Let's see. We got the new Denpa Men Nintendo Switch, and out today. Memory of Memory, a chill story. A chill story? Huh. Story-driven productivity adventure where you work at your desk alongside Memory, an apprentice witch living in another world. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Well, as it always is, it's fun to see what games were out in this day in gaming, which is July 22nd. We had Metal Gear, we had Road Rash, Mega Man, Tenchu, and all sorts of fun stuff. So that was, as always, very cool to see. And there it is. There we have it, folks. Bada boom, bada bing. It's all, like I said, it is always fun. It's kind of going back and checking out what was coming out and everything, and that gets you on my own trip of memory lane and everything. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Oh, god dang it. Hassan says, I refuse to believe arcades pushed the first microtransactions. That has made you spend small bits of money all the time. Wait. Oh no. Right? You almost don't want to believe it until you're like, oh, wait a minute. Because, I mean, think about it. The microtransaction in that regard is you pay a quarter for an extra life, basically. And the more extra lives you have are obtained through more quarters in the system. Unless it happens to be that rare arcade game that maybe, like, if you earn a certain high score or something like that, or the enemies drop it in the game. Because sometimes the beat 'em ups might have had something like that. But otherwise, yeah, it was called you paid to play. Literally paid to play. So, you know, I guess like I said, we should have known better. We really should have known better. But then, I mean, like it is, then it's like you still kind of had that with video game rentals, a pay to play idea. Because then if you wanted to keep playing, and especially if it's the game you really liked, you had to keep renting it. But Also, you did have the option to just buy the game outright, own it, and not have to worry about it. And speaking, I guess, you know, speaking of video game ownership, I was going to go into something else as kind of a first topic, but I thought this was interesting when I caught this on X, thanks to the account Does It Play, which is the account that kind of, as described, working to ensure games and hardware remain accessible now and always, testing commercial releases offline. So they're a good account to follow if you are wanting to make sure and know what games are like fully playable offline, don't require downloads and stuff like that. So there is this that kind of popped up. This Nintendo Life account came in with this latest physical sales data proves the format is in fact dying. So we've got those this is gonna be the thing. We're gonna see plenty of these counter narratives that, you know, physical media sales are dying. But it is like, it's from, as old Ben Kenobi said, from a certain point of view. Because yes, you can see certain things dying in certain regards, but it just might be also, there's gonna be a lot of factors to it, especially right now. Money's tight for a lot of people, not a whole lot of spending is going on for a lot of people. And now that especially, like, you see this full push for digital, it's interesting. But the funny thing is, though, like, and this is just me, like, speaking from this personal experience. I work retail, and I'm usually, my area is like, I'm part of our electronics area and our entertainment area. And I mean, even though, like, we removed, unfortunately, our whole DVD Blu-ray area, I've still had plenty of people either call our store or come in looking for Blu-rays and DVDs. I mean, there's still plenty of people that are trying to still find physical media. And if you don't supply it, then you can't get, you know, sales numbers. But then the funny thing is that, I mean, we still have, like, our dedicated section for vinyl and CDs. But I mean, like, the funny thing is, vinyl is a thing that has made a weird return that sells. People are always going for it. And I mean, right now, I think for CDs, the big thing too is, like, this the damn K-pop shit. Every, like, Friday when that stuff drops, I have people coming in. Look, I have certain repeat customers and everything, but it's wild. And I mean, we've still maintained our book section. People are still wanting to get physical copies of books. Like, yeah, I know initially it was the Amazon Kindle and stuff like that. They really hit hard on physical books and stuff like that, but, like, that's been a big, our store company, like, put a push for books and stuff like that. So, and it proved to be rather successful. I mean, I can't think of how often I've had to restock our books. So it's a thing that, you know, yeah, people are still trying to get physical media, and I can only imagine, I can only wonder what this is going to be going into. And we'll let's check out this article first, and then I'll jump into that the community notes, because they got noted. Because, like I said, there's gonna be counter stuff to all of this. And this is over on Nintendo Life here. And this is going off of, like, it is, yeah, probably off of just some of the Nintendo sales. But again, you gotta take it. There's probably things that aren't being accounted for, I'm willing to bet. like mom and pop video game stores that do the resells and stuff like that, I would imagine that they aren't necessarily getting those sale numbers to account for everything. So it says here, when Sony recently announced it would be ending production of the physical media for the PS5, presumably the PS6, from January 2028, the gaming community was quite rightly up in arms. Yet despite the ongoing backlash, the actual data indicating how poorly physical media sells these days doesn't lie. And this is like why I don't always go off of metrics and data and sales and crap like that, is that like it is they can be very easily manipulated into the narrative they are wanting to tell, how they get their focus groups or how they get their sample numbers and stuff like that, and then they can, you know, push the things in the direction in particular that they want to, how they want to describe things. So it says, and it's looking grim indeed, according to Matt Piscatella from Circana. Just two PS5 games sold more than 10,000 copies in the US during the week ending 11th July 2026. In addition, only 7 have sold more than 100,000 physical copies year to date. You might be thinking, but that's PlayStation. Nintendo sells way more physical games. And yes, you'd probably be right, but in follow-up post, Christopher Dring, who runs the game business, notes that just 1,000 physical sales would have netted the number 9 spot in the last week's UK sales charts. And that's for the, oh, it's a Blue Sky post. Things are kind of suddenly running a little slow for me. Ow! Chugging! Wanted to chug. Ow! That's what I get for wanting to show the goddamn post. Why did I do it? Okay, we're normal again. But yeah, here, so was quote posting, tweeting, whatever. 2 PlayStation video games sold more. Okay, that's what they just talked about. Now, which game was at number 10 last week? Yes, Star Fox, and Pokemon Legends ZA was at number 9, with sales split between Switch 2 and Switch 60% and 40% respectively. So Star Fox, less than a month from its launch on 25th of June, sold 1,000 copies or less physically during week ending 18th of July. That's insane. This writer remembers just a little more than a decade ago, a single game store would shift upwards of 100 units of a recently released title in just one day. 1,000 sales across the entire region in a week is dire, and this is probably why we've not heard anything from Sony. As much as fans want to protest, it seems highly unlikely the company will backtrack from its decision to ditch physical media. The sales just aren't there anymore. Our personal preference would be to simply downscale the production of physical media to meet the remaining demand. There are many folks out there who simply won't entertain the idea of buying digital, and it seems a damn shame just to ignore their needs entirely. Movies and music have proven that physical media still has a place in modern society. Why should games be any different? So this is kind of trying to play a bit of that goofy balancing act there. Yeah, exactly, Hassan. The data shows that since we stopped making physical game sales has declined. What a weird correlation there. But yeah, and the interesting thing too, and why I brought this up too, is how Does It Play mentions, meanwhile, a game in Japan alone sold over 500,000 copies in 2 weeks. Spain is reporting great numbers for physical sales. CD sales in the US are up 16%. Sony's profits for physical increased in 2025, and Circana's own data shows growth in user spending on physical media do better. So that's where also this community note comes into play. We have Circana reports U.S. physical game spending rose 3% rose 3% year over year to 1.6 billion for the 12 months ending May 2026. First increase in 2009, driven by Nintendo Switch 2. Rhythm Heaven Groove sold 393,378 physical copies in its first week in Japan per Famitsu. So that is the thing. It's like they're only looking at a portion of the US market, and like I said, that's where things can get very very goofy when they are trying to, you know, bring out sales numbers and data and all this sort of data and crap like that. Like I said, a lot of it can be very easily kind of skewed and manipulated in different ways. So we can even kind of take a look at this really quick. GameIndustry.biz. Circana, Nintendo Switch 2 helped U.S. physical game spending increase year on year for the first time since 2009. It was just a 3% rise year on year. And senior director Matt Piscatella emphasizes that this is likely a temporary blip for box sales. Possibly, but I mean, if you provide, and that's kind of the main focus, people will go to where they need to go for buying their games. I mean, it's not difficult to see how they are wanting to manipulate the perception and wanting to push things in a particular direction. Nintendo Switch 2 helped use its physical games spending as his first year on year. That's according to a post from Mark. Okay, so this is gonna be kind of, it seems like retreading what we just talked about. Piscatella said the broad decline in physical sales is due to the overwhelming majority of sales being digital, while secondhand doesn't really matter. See that? Okay, that's just it. They're not including those that market, so they're automatically discount. Why do I feel like I've already read this? Did I go over this last week? I almost feel like I did, because I just had a sudden sense of deja vu. Crap. Now hang on. I'm gonna check my notes really quick here. Hang on. Now I'm like, wait, I almost feel like I saw this. No. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. I just feel like this, I already looked at this or something. Weird. Anyways. Sorry about that. Speaking to GameIndustry.biz, Piscatella said that there was one very simple reason for this year on year. Quote, this is the Switch 2 bump. He said physical software sales on Nintendo platforms are up around 26% compared to a year ago, but still down from the year ending May 2024 period. Piscatella emphasized that this is highly likely to be just a temporary blip. All other ecosystems are continuing to drop by double-digit percentages. He continued, very likely to be temporary blip. At some point, this will all bottom out. Perhaps we're getting there now, but that's just through, you know, the manipulation of the market itself. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not from people not wanting to buy things. If you're cutting off access from one thing to another, sure, yeah, you're gonna start seeing an increase in one side or the other. People still want to play their games, but also, like I said, certain declines and everything, like, you know, gas keeps fluctuating up and down. Food prices keep doing the same thing along with it, just because of transportation stuff. So it's like people are weighing things a little bit more, and if sales are down in a particular way, sure, you know, they may not be going out and getting those games and music or whatever. And also, yeah, if you're providing like summer sales and stuff like that right now, some decent ones, and sometimes some people don't wait for decent ones. People just go for like the littlest even percentage, and it's like, oh, sure. But you know, let's see. In a separate post on Blue Sky yesterday, Piscatello noted that 30 video games have sold over 1,000 copies of Code in the Box physical games so far in 2026, including Just Dance, Split Fiction, and Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. So this is the thing that like I said, with working at my retail store, we used to carry the Rabbids games, both of them. That was the physical game. But then a time after that, it became the Code in Box version that was the only thing that we had available. So again, manipulation of the market and stuff like that. Like, if that's the only thing that they're providing and people like want to shop at their local stores and support their local stores, and they just kind of see this like, well, I've gotten or if they don't, and then like some people that sometimes just don't know better, and are just trying to get the game for, like, say, their kids or something like that, maybe for themselves, or for themselves, and you know, they're at the store, they see it, they're like, yeah, screw it, I'll grab it. And sometimes they might not notice that it is a Code in a Box, and just go for it. So, you know, this followed news that Grand Theft Auto 6 would be download only when it launches November 20th, and that physical copies would simply be a Code in a Box. Not surprising. Not surprising for me. Nintendo Switch 2 launched in June 2025. Globally, as March 2026 has shifted 19.86 million consoles in the United States. Hardware broke records, selling over 1.1 million units in its first week on sale. In May, it was reported that Nintendo was planning a 20% increase in production on the Switch 2 to keep up with demand. So, I mean, that right there, they were increasing the hardware side for the system itself, which, I mean, if they increased it for the games themselves, you'd possibly see an uptick, if that was certainly the main thing you're providing. And I mean, last I also knew that Pokopia game was really popular. I know my store was selling out of it as soon as we got it in sometimes. So are those being also factored for a lot of this? I don't believe that was a Code in the Box. So, you know, it's getting really weird, and everything. But you know, that this is the push they want to go for. They are wanting this as much as possible for full-on digital. But all I can say is, you know, do keep the pressure going. There's other markets, and let me see that. And yeah, like I've said, go to your local game shops, little mom and pop shops, get your video games there. And you know, I'm sure it could, if they actually And good morning to you, Static, saying Pokemon is gay. Yes, it may be, but Pokemon sells. So that's the other half of that one, is that the Pokemon being what it is, it does sell, and that's the main point to that. So yeah, I mean, if it's in it, one way or another, you know, because I mean, the funny at my store again, our PlayStation section has completely shrunk, and Xbox is just basically the hardware at this point. I don't even think we have the games anymore, and haven't for a while. We just have the digital cards. So, you know, in our floor plans and stuff, yeah, we're adding to that push for digital, and I'm sure that's a request by Microsoft to do so, or Xbox, however you want to look at it. And, you know, that's the push. They are all pushing towards digital storefronts. They want more direct access and then more access to be able to control and manipulate your games how they see fit. Hassan, my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. I should have a clip of that guy saying that. And hey, Real Weight Nation Gaming, how's it going? Hassan says, data manipulation? No, never. How absurd. That never happened. Static says, people who buy Pokemon every time should be treated like those who buy NBA 2K every year, or people that buy Madden every year, or, you know. I don't disagree with that. I do not disagree with that. Shunned from society unless they are willing to enter the camps. Ooh, Static, what do you mean there by camps? Oh God, oh no. But yeah, that's I just thought that was really interesting. That this just came across my feed and everything, and you know, we got to keep up the discussion of physical media, its importance. And while, you know, maybe it's not necessarily the thing you want to go for, I get that. Having the ease and availability of digital is quite the thing. If you are going to try and do it smart, like I've been trying to shift more of my focus towards GOG, and, you know, try and keep that as at least one avenue. And yeah, go for old hardware, go for the old games if you can, find them, buy them, have them as a backup plan. I mean, the thing is, like, all of your electronics, no matter what it is, has the possibility of failure, whether it's your hard drives or your video game console cartridges or discs. Everything has a shelf life, but the best thing that you could do at least is, you know, maintain, protect, and do what you can. So yeah, that's that little bitty of news there. And like I said, that just kind of came across my timeline. I'm like, yeah, it's getting wacky tobacky out there. Static saying, have you seen all those videos of people hacking shit together to make physical games for PC? Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I believe I have bookmarked some of those. Let's see. So, you know, just kind of, we'll kind of continue this a little bit more, because I was going to move on, but, you know, kind of continuing the whole physical digital landscape. I had another one where I had this tweet from Pirate Nation, who said, former Valve writer Chet Falizek says there's no conspiracy behind PlayStation's move away from physical games. In his view, the industry is simply following what most players have already chosen, buying games digitally. Falizek argued that consumers ultimately decide how companies operate, You, the consumer, have made your choice. The choice is for digital. He also pointed out that while many people online are upset about Sony ending physical sales data have shown for years, digital purchases have massively overtaken physical copies via Games Radar. So that bit, we're kind of retreading some ground there. We've already kind of talked about that. Yes, I would say the normie majority will go digital because of ease of convenience and stuff like that. It's why like Netflix took off the way it did. The ease of just ordering something online, getting it shipped to you, and then you had a week or whatever to then just throw it back in the mail. And then Netflix evolved to a streaming service. Again, an ease of convenience. But I think slowly but surely people are there are people out there that are kind of going, wait a minute, I'm not controlling the content of which I want to watch and consume. So that's where, people will start going towards like physical media of like TV shows and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree that the push it has been more for digital. Like I said, ease of convenience. But you can't also overrule and ignore the people that do want physical media, because it does provide. And hello, Mike C. the Scout. How are you this morning? Says, never saw the appeal of digital anything. Buying a physical game or book, the store employees can't come to my home and take them back. Absolutely. Like I said, that's where, like, if people do go digital, do it smart. And right now, one of the best tracks currently and in their present form, there's always room that things could change, but GOG.com is at least a place you can buy your digital games, keep your digital games how you want and in the form you want, because they'll usually provide the update lists and stuff like that. Static saying, hot take, streaming was better when it was a monopoly. Well, I mean, look at what it's now, but I mean, it's basically now like cable was. You have now all the different channels, and if you want to watch certain things, you have to get those special packages and all that sort of shit. We're basically right back around at cable TV, people. I mean, that's the funny thing. Yes, absolutely, Static. I do agree. He says the conversation should be more about digital ownership because you can have a disc that means fuck all now. Yes, I mentioned this last week, I believe, when I was going over the PlayStation stuff, because I'd gone into my local game store and I was talking with a guy that I knew from my from my current place of work. He used to be there too. We were talking, and yeah, that is something that we discussed, is that, the push for digital ownership needs to be a big focus. And I mentioned and brought up that's the positive aspect of something like Stop Killing Games. That's one area of attack to help with digital ownership and keeping games and maintaining and preserving games in some form or another. So I do think that as one big as a good push. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That also needs to be part of the conversation, is the change for digital ownership, because that there have been light changes here and there, where that's why, and that is another thing that I think I brought up last week, was how people pushed, especially like the whole European Union and stuff like that, which, take it for what you will when it comes to government getting involved in shit like this, and I understand. They went down hard on Valve for their digital distribution on the Steam platform, And that was how through that we eventually got the ability to even do returns on the digital games. But I guess they got the caveat of it has to be within a 2-hour window of game time play. And now, like it is, you have some games that will basically be like a 2-hour long cutscene. Good luck trying to then do that. But I mean, little things like that well, not little things, but you know, things like that are what changed some of that to give us that ability to do so. We just need more firm ownership on the digital purchases. Static says, yeah, it's shitty. He corrected centralized cable. Right. No, it really is. But here is I think I have some other things that I'll find in just a moment too, but yeah, so over on Game Rant, PC Gamer finds clever way to turn Steam games into physical cartridges. This might have been it. So a PC Gamer transformed some of their Steam game library into cartridges using some spare 2.5 solid state drives, SSDs. Although Steam is primarily known for its vast digital library, the custom game cartridge system is one way that some PC games can be preserved by users. For over 2 decades, Steam has been the most popular storefront for PC games across the industry. Though physical Steam games were once common in the late 2000s to early 2010s, the majority of games currently available on Valve's storefront are exclusively digital, with PlayStation receiving backlash for moving away from physical media in favor of digital exclusivity for the next console generation. Users have flocked to Steam in response to the pending moves. Yeah, this is exactly what I saw. I think I want to say this is exactly what I saw. Yes. Hang on. Just to see if there is. Yeah, it's gonna be. Let's see what this is. Oh, so it's on the our PC Master Race is probably one of the decent places to go on Reddit, or at least especially was because they used to have a whole thing for PC builds and stuff like that. So, but let's check this out really quick here. I like that clock though. That's cool. Well, I'm not getting any audio though. Do I have the? Hang on. I don't have the tab muted, so I don't know. Huh. Weird. It's not giving me any audio. But oh, for God's sakes. All right, now it's playing the sound from whatever that video was I just had up by accident. Hang on. Let's see if it'll... You need to finish Armored Core, so static. I don't know about this one. I don't know if my brother played it, though. Yeah, there's just no audio, unfortunately. But... though physical game discs are not as profitable as digital copies, one Steam user shared a clever method that they crafted for playing some of their favorite PC games. A Reddit user named Jibril Sama shared a short video demonstrating their custom Steam game cartridge setup on their Linux PC. The cartridge creator said they used some cheap 2.5 SSDs with a capacity of 128 gigabytes each as the main basis. Each SSD was then placed in a colorful 3D printed cartridge, and that also showed the game's key art on the top side. The OP then picked the original poster, then picked up a purple Steam cartridge containing Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, and inserted it into a customized SATA dock. Once plugged in, Armored Core 6 was ready to play within the second. Along with Armored Core 6, some of the Steam games that the original poster converted into cartridges included Monster Hunter World, Cyberpunk 2077, Forza Horizon 5. In a Tom's Hardware interview, Jibril Sama said that each SSD utilized a custom script to automatically navigate to each game's Steam page and boot up the game shortly after. Valve's Steam URL protocol was then leveraged in the background. The cartridge creator then said that their system was made as a way to play titles that they did not play often. Additionally, the 2.5 SSDs they purchased for their Steam game cartridges were roughly $8 on the secondhand market. While Jibril Sama stated that they did not use cartridges for live service titles, they stated that if a game required an update, they would let Steam handle it. So that's much like if you would with like your game console. That right, with the current game consoles especially, they ought to do their little updates if you let it. In response, most users stated they felt inspired to try something similar with their own Steam library. Others users said they could do the same with PC games on other storefronts, such as GOG. In light of Sony's controversial choice to move away from physical discs by 2028, GOG recently reaffirmed its support for physical media as a way to back up games available on its platform. Given that the ongoing DRAM shortage crisis has caused the prices of RAM and SSDs to skyrocket through 2026, the fact that the aforementioned Steam cartridge system uses secondhand drives is an economical solution. It remains to be seen how many users try to create a PC game cartridge system of their own. I think I saw GOG talking about this. So GOG weighs in on PlayStation's physical disc controversy. PC gaming storefront Good Old Games, GOG, took a shot at PlayStation on social media, declaring that gamers do not need a storefront's permission to play purchased games. GOG's message came days after PlayStation announced its intention to shift from physical game discs by January 2028. Sony's intention to move away from releasing PlayStation titles on physical discs after 3 decades, go away, immediately drew the ire of gamers, developers, and other companies. Since PlayStation announcement, fans have called on the company to reconsider its move away from physical media. Despite the ongoing petitions against Sony's decision, Dr. Serkan Toto of the consulting firm Cantina Games stated that PlayStation is unlikely to change its stance against physical releases come 2028. GOG tweet here said, download the offline installer of your games on GOG, save it to disk, and it's yours forever. You don't need a storefront's permission to play what you bought. With the gaming industries at large criticizing Sony's move towards digital exclusivity, GOG followed suit. Despite being a digital PC storefront, it stated on social media that users can download the offline installer for any games on the GOG platform and save the data to a disk format of their choice as a way to keep a copy. GOG reaffirmed its anti-DRM policy by stating that gamers should not need any storefront's permission to play any games. Although Steam is the largest PC gaming storefront, by most metrics, GOG has carved a niche by being one of the most reliable storefronts for obtaining classic and modern PC titles across multiple platforms, and they are doing more so with their preservation program and stuff like that. Really check them out. I can't put them over enough right now, and I hope I'm not being mistaken in doing so, because like it is, things change. There's always a regime. There's not always, but there can be regime changes within these companies, and suddenly new directions happen. So I hope I'm not too wrong in this. It won't be for a very long time. Yeah, Static, I have. He says, you see Xbox rumors of keeping physical? That would be so funny. Yeah, the main thing that I heard about them keeping, quote unquote, keeping physical was more of like, oh, with your current game library, back it up and keep it a quote unquote digital copy or whatever. But we'll see where that actually plays out, and it would be kind of funny if they stick to digital and suddenly go full physical. Do a complete 180 on everything and go to physical again. Or I guess I don't know. But yeah, that'd be kind of funny. And especially like it is a follow-up to the way Sony gave them the finger back in the day, Xbox then gives them the finger right in return. So it'd be funny. PlayStation move towards digital exclusivity could pose problems for some users. Some PlayStation users raised concerns that Sony's region locking policies could prevent players who move to another country from playing any digital titles on their account. As of writing this, PlayStation Network users cannot change the country or region that an account is based in. However, this is not the case with Steam or with Nintendo and Xbox consoles, as users can change and transfer regions easily. Excuse me. Although GOG did not outright name Sony in this message, the point was not lost on his user base. Several users replied with positive messages to GOG while also mocking PlayStation. Additionally, Sony could run into some legal headwinds with the upcoming change. Plans to file a formal antitrust complaint against PlayStation were announced by two Mexican government officials, federal representatives Reyes and Senator Luis Donaldo Colosio. Reyes stated that should physical discs disappear, it would create a monopoly by forcing users to purchase digital games through the PlayStation Store. Although the digital PlayStation titles can be sold through storefronts like Amazon, the codes must still be redeemed through Sony's network. Colosio claimed that PlayStation's decision was made under the assumption that every user can access or has access to an ISP with fast download speeds, which is not always the case. And that is kind of the other thing, and why things like OnLive and Google Stadia didn't take off, because some areas of the country, even here in America, like not everybody has a drastically fast internet service provider to maintain the speeds that would be required to stream a game and stuff like that, or to download. So, you know, it's a conflicting issue. Though the company is staying the course in its plans, Sony subsequently stated that the games released before January 2028 would still have physical copies printed as necessary. Ergo, games such as Final Fantasy VII Revelation will likely be among the last major titles to receive physical disc released on the PlayStation 5. Although that's always to be determined on how much data is actually provided on the physical storage. So, I mean, the funny thing is that, like, yeah, like what this person did with the Steam with the whole Steam cartridge idea, you could just as also easily do as a solution to keeping, you know, your own physical GOG games. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the cool thing with like a lot of the stuff that happens in these spheres is like people get really, really creative. And suddenly, like, we've got now all these new ways of kind of handling media in these different ways, which is just kind of cool. Yeah, here's the post that I initially saw before that article. PC Gamer has found the Steam makes, so here's the. This one also still doesn't have audio. But I guess it's just showing how it goes right to the game like that. Boom, pops it in. Then it goes right to the armored core. And that is kind of, and then we see the Elden Ring put in as well. And where was I just? Where was it? Yeah, so I already been done, but much cooler. I also did the same thing, but with discs to launch games. I guess we could also kind of check this out really quick.
Floppy disks have become so obsolete that their main recommended use case these days are coasters. And that is no fitting fate for a technology that is so cool. So today, we're gonna find a way.
But they're so flawed, dude. They were not the best forms of keeping data. Like, they were so flimsy and could, like, yeah, they're neat in a retro sense, but they're not. Static said they would never go full physical. No one would buy 2K then.
To use floppy disks to launch modern AAA title video games. And we'll do it step by step so you can follow along at home. We'll have to solve 3 major problems to get this to work, the last being by far the most challenging. But the first is the fact that floppy disks only contain 1.44 megabytes worth of data on them. And modern AAA title video games are well...
Static says the floppy disk method would be super simple to implement. See, okay, yeah, Hassan, thank you. Yeah, nah, man, you need zip disk. I remember the zip disk. My buddy had a zip disk system for, I think it was his Mac. And those were like more like, it seemed like heavier dutier discs. And hey, Real Wade Nation Gaming, how's it going, dude?
Above that threshold. In fact, for a 64 gigabyte game like this, we would need around 45,000 floppy disks to store that all. So yeah, that's a challenge. But even if we had 45,000 of these, how do you get a modern computer to run them? Thankfully, you can find 3.5-inch floppy to USB drives to exist, and they're pretty cheap. This is like...
I am, you know, there, even though like I know there is like, you know, VHS players still out there that people can get, this still kind of surprises me that there's even floppy drives out there available that you can still get.
$15 on Amazon.
That seems funny to me.
I can't say I've ever used anything else from this brand. There's like a million knockoffs though, and they all should work. As we plug this drive into our computer, you can see it pop up in File Explorer. Floppy disk drive right there. And if we were to insert a random floppy disk and then open up this drive, you can see that, yes, we can actually read that floppy disk. And I did buy this floppy disk on eBay that had a bunch of random data on it. So now the challenge is how...
So this was 2 months ago. Okay.
How do we get it to launch something that is larger than it can physically hold? To solve this, we're going to try to take a page out of Nintendo's playbook, because with their Switch 2, the cartridges don't...
Hassan says, I vaguely remember a guy put Doom 2016 on like 1 million floppy disks. Oh, God. Oh, God bless them for doing so, I guess. Static says the game has to be installed on your hard drive first. Then when you put the disc in it, just has a script that will have the game logo for the icon that will just launch the game, no actual game files. Gotcha. Well, I mean, like, I just remember floppy disks just not being that reliable because, like, the magnetic strip could easily get damaged and stuff like that, which is why I'm kind of critical of the idea of using a floppy disk as a, you know, I mean, this is kind of a neat novelty, but not like something I would want to actually consider. Right. I would imagine it would feel like close to 1 million just to put Doom 2016 on there. But yeah, I get you, son.
don't actually contain the physical game. Instead, they're using game key cards, which gives you access to download the game and like a license to play the game. Which, while might be a bit controversial, I wonder if we can use that same approach with our floppy disks. Because realistically, there's no way we're fitting a large modern game on a 1.44 megabyte disk. So instead, we're going to take advantage of Steam's URL protocol, which is basically a way for you to launch games in your game library from a URL. For example, steam://run game ID $730 will launch Counter-Strike 2, assuming you own it in your library. For example, if we want to change it to launch Cyberpunk...
So I'm imagining that's what that other guy did for the hard drive, or do something a little bit different.
2077.
I wish we got a little more details for the guy that ran the hard drives.
And we can go to the store page, and if you come up here, you can see right after app, there's this number right here. In this case, 1091500. So if we change this number to 1091500, and now that's the Steam URL to launch Cyberpunk. Meaning if we can find a way for our floppy disk to trigger our computer to run that URL whenever it's inserted, well, hypothetically, we can launch that video game. But herein lies the next major hurdle. You see, prior to around 2010, you could plug in a flash drive or a CD or a floppy disk, and your computer would instantly run whatever was on it, which by all means is a huge security violation. It's why you've heard that, like, not to plug in random USBs into your computer. For a long time, the default Windows setting was just to run the files on the drive plugged into your computer, meaning malware or keyloggers or something else nefarious could just instantly pop up on your computer. And so Windows did make a change to not allow auto runs to work when you plug in something new into your computer, which, while that is a good thing, it makes our project a little bit harder. It's time to go build our own auto run program for our floppy. We'll start by making a new text document right on our desktop, and we'll call it Floppy Launcher, just like that. So now if we open it up, we'll start by adding 2 lines. The first is to define where.
So Hassan went on a quick Google food trip here. He said, I forgot what the actual material was for a floppy disk. Gotta check now. He says, straight from Google. Floppy disks were constructed from a flexible polyester film called Mylar, coated with a magnetized material like iron oxide. Yeah, and like I said, like as I remember, they were notorious for failing. And I even had a couple that did. I think I had my Final Fantasy VII was on floppy from back in the day, and those unfortunately failed. And I was bummed as hell when that happened.
Here the floppy drive actually exists, which in most cases is going to be the...
Like this, when you're pressing the floppy disk into the drive, that metal strip that is otherwise protecting the film slides to the side, and that's what makes the connectivity to the system. So, you know, any dust particles and stuff like that could absolutely affect.
We can verify this by opening up our file explorer to see that our floppy disk drive is located at A. Next, we're going to define a file to read. In this case, we want to look for game.txt. This is basically the file that we're going to look for on our floppy disk in order to launch our game. With that defined, now we need to add the bulk of the actual functionality. And I will leave a copy of these files in the description down below in case you don't want to type this all out yourself. But what this loop is doing is waiting for us to insert a floppy disk, and as soon as we do, check to see if we can find that file, that game.txt file. And if we do, launch the Steam URL with that Steam.
How? I don't know. How did you get found? I want to say it was. Maybe I might be wrong. Let me double check that. Hang on. I'm wrong. The original PC 98 release was on CD-ROM due to the game's massive size and extensive full-motion video cinematics. I was wrong. Sorry. I'm blaming my tired brain right now. I was up playing Halo with the Melee Games community, so I'm blaming that. My bad. Back to this.
ID that is associated in that game.txt file. Now the important part is to save this as a PowerShell script. When you click Save As, it'll default it as a TXT file, but you want to go down to All Files, and then you want to type in .ps1. And then it'll look like this on your desktop, which if you run with PowerShell, you'll notice this PowerShell window does pop up, and I'll show you how to remove that in a little bit. But you'll also notice that your floppy disk drive should start trying to scan for floppy disks every few seconds.
Wade saying, watching you on my... Oh, happy birthday, dude. Hope you have a good day planned ahead of you. And thanks for being here and watching.
So now if we take a blank floppy disk that has nothing on it and insert it into here, well, expectedly, like, no games are gonna launch. So instead, if we open up our floppy disk drive and inside of here create another text document and call this one game, now if we open up that document, we can add the simple line of ID equals and then the number. This is going to be the Steam ID of the game that we want this floppy disk to launch. In this case, 730 is Counter-Strike 2. So as soon as we save that text file, CS2 immediately launches, and that's because our script was actively running, which goes to show that this actually has teeth. So I'm gonna close that down and remove our floppy disk. Let's see now what happens if we insert this back into our drive. Well, as we plug it in, again, not touching anything else, will CS2 actually...
And you'll be in your Discord. Okay, cool. Maybe I will. I usually do have my nights sort of planned, and I also get really distracted at night because raisins. But yeah, I might. I know I got your invite. I might have to pop in. Hassan says, "Man, I've got a stack of floppy disks that's been sitting at the corner of a desk for 20-something years. I just picked one up at the title and the title is Acid. I have no idea what's on it. Oh no." No.
Launch? And it does. Okay, this is really cool. Meaning, now all we have to do is repeat this process for floppy disks for as many video games as we would like to launch. And in this case, I have like 5 or 6 more. So let's go ahead and turn all of these into game launchers for our Steam library. Oh, and to stop our auto-launching script, we can just Control-C and that'll kill the program. So now if we want this floppy disk to launch Metal Slug 3, which is in my library, again, we can go to the store page and then look up the ID of this game, 250180. And now we can insert this empty floppy disk into our drive, open it up inside of our computer, right-click New Text Document. Again, just call it Game, and then open up that document and type in ID equals 250180. Save and close. And then simply repeat with as many games in your Steam library as you want to. I also find it very fun to draw the logo of the game that these floppy disks launch. Kind of makes it a bit more personal. Sometimes the logos turn out a bit better than others. I also did consider buying stickers of the actual like cover artwork of these games to stick on the floppy disk up here. But that's part of the fun of having your own physical game launchers. And the other fun part is finding out a way to store your old floppy disk, which I will say is probably the biggest challenge of doing this, because, I mean, my Steam library has hundreds.
So this is a little novel idea for sure, being able to just to kind of pop in a floppy disk and it boots up the game like that, but it's like, it's still not a way of backing up and preserving the digital game that you've bought and owned. This is kind of a neat way to launch the game, sure, but it's not quite backing up and everything. Hello, Drizzy Drake over on the Rumble side. Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Says I got you tabbed. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Real Wade Nation Gamer says I'll be at 9 p.m. CST Central Time till midnight. Gotcha. Well, like it is. I hope you have a great time. Like I said, I'll try and pop by.
Of games inside of it.
We shall see.
If you did want to turn every single one of your games into a floppy disk, well, you are going to run into, well, I guess like a pretty classic problem of just storage management. And so I bought a handful of retro floppy disk holders, and we're going to see which one is most fitting for our project. Oh, wow, this one even came with extra floppies. Oh, that's awesome. Very nice. I think this Fellows brand was pretty popular in the floppy disk era. You can kind of see this one pops open to reveal the floppy disks right here. So if we stash in our game cards, just like that, now we have a nice compact storage for our games. Wait, that's kind of cool. Then you can kind of just flip through them like this. All right, that's feasible. Let's see if option 2 is any better. Oh, wait, these also came with floppy disks. That's kind of the cool thing about working with floppies is people are just trying to get rid of them. So they're kind of easy to accumulate.
I think it's funny people still
these
have
ones
a
are
bunch of
see-through.
them.
That's really cool. Oh man, you can even color code your floppy disk based on the game. Like I'm sure some game out there would look better on a green disk than like an orange disk, you know? But okay, this is also a Fellows container, and let's see, I'm pretty sure there's a way to, oh, that's so cool. You can pop open the games like this vertically. Whoa, wait, that's so cool. It's a nice cascading effect. And then hypothetically, you could look for your games just like this. Also, what in the world is this? California Egg Commission? What is this? I'm kind of digging this cascade one, but I'm almost wondering then if I just need to put like a little label of what game is at the top of each disc, because then hypothetically you'd be able to see it at a glance.
Yeah.
Strike.
It sounds like, oh man, he got the see-through ones.
If
Yeah.
that was inserted into our cascade.
Funny how, like you
storage,
said,
look at that. You can just
he
see
gets
it
these
right
and
at the
people
top.
just
Ooh,
send it
that's
right
pretty
to
cool.
him.
Now, I will say there are a few caveats of this system that make it, well, maybe not work super awesome all of the time. The first is you don't want to have to launch this program every time you open your computer. And so to bypass that, we can create a second script called startfloppyhidden.vbs. This is a Visual Basic script file. And inside of there, we just need 2 lines. Set the object shell to create object wscript.shell, and then the shell.run powershell.exe bypass file, and then wherever our floppy launcher file actually is. In my case, it's just on my desktop. Running this script will prevent the PowerShell from actually popping up, so you won't have that window that you need to get rid of later. And then to make our start floppy hidden always run whenever our computer is launched, we can go into our startup app. So if we go inside of there, we can just enable start floppy hidden to on. And then every time our computer turns on, well, this script will run, which will essentially run our floppy launcher script. And while this does work pretty effectively to use floppy disks as a game launcher on your computer, the other downside is, well, like, just kind of the functionality of how we've had to hack this together. At least with my drive, you can hear a chirp every 3 seconds. There it is again. There it is again. And that little chirp is basically the drive checking to see if a floppy disk is inserted. And that, of course, is right here. This start sleep seconds 3 inside of our floppy launcher PS1 file. Because this needs to always be listening, it does need to check at some interval whether a floppy disk has been inserted. And at least with this drive, every time it checks, it makes a noise. Which is kind of annoying. So if someone can come up with a better solution of either making that,
I would only guess that he's probably young and it does not remember the days of how loud our computers used to be.
more silent, or, you know, doing this all in a way that makes a little more sense, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below. Because I will say that launching games off floppies is a fascinating little project. And turning your digital Steam library into something that you can physically like move your fingers through is such a cool experience. So if any—
But it's not turning it into a physical library. It's just basically giving yourself a physical ability to launch the game instead of just doing it through the computer itself. It's cool. I kind of dig this idea. It's kind of that step in going for, yeah, physical media, but it's just still not quite there.
Process that would be
for this.
Really cool. I will go ahead.
I think the hard drives is a much better option, which Static, I believe you talked about doing something kind of like that, with like thumb drives and stuff like that. So I mean, that's kind of up that alley.
Like leave all these files that I've created so far in the description down below so that you guys can just start tinkering with them as well. But with that, I've been Mr. Yeaster, your tech tinker, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for following.
So I'll provide links to to this video and stuff like that for anybody that wants to check it out, because I'll probably clip this out and all that jazz. But interesting, cool little thing to do. I guess I'm not trying to bring down the whole thing. I can't help but commentate and bring up the certain downsides of what that brings, but it's really cool. And, you know, again, with this whole physical media stuff, it's with this whole push for between digital, physical, and all that stuff, it's good to see that people are trying to create and come up with alternative ways to still be able to back up and provide these sort of things for your games, so you can still hold a sense of ownership on your games and everything. So yeah, I mean, and we, like I said, again, we have some like GOG who are trying to maintain some digital ownership for people's games. Yes, I do agree, like what Static pointed out earlier, the push for digital ownership is going to be, you know, a big push that is going to be necessary. So that is also got to be also reminded of that for part of the conversation, not just, you know, the physical versus digital. So otherwise, yeah, that was that little topic. I did a little more than I had initially anticipated, but you know, you gotta love doing extra little deep dives in the middle of everything. And I'm right now just kind of backing up all the links that I went into for all of this. Let's see, making sure. Hopefully I got that first one that started all of this. I think. Oh no, I don't know if I backed up. I didn't know if I thought I bookmarked it. Shoot, I didn't back up the does it play. That one I want to make sure and try and find. Crap. What was that? Nintendo Life. That was, let me find that post and then I can back that up really quick. There we go. Okie dokie. Cool. I got those all saved now. Like I said, it's always fun taking these little detours. Isan says, yep, those chirps and beeps when you start up those old computers, the old dial-up modem connecting, and other weird noises. Exactly. It was all part of the process, god damn it. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3 million years ago when I saw this. Heard this, experienced it. Static says, I would love to be able to start a business that would be able to recreate the big box PC experience. That's right. That would be awesome. Those big boxes were cool, and then especially to like bring back the old the old video game manuals and stuff like that, dude. Those we looked at all the Diablo ones and stuff back in the day. Those were just freaking classic, man. So much rich lore and detail for the games. Oh, so good. Hassan says, so the math says, oh god, are we gonna get into some Scott Steiner math here? 1 terabyte, 1 million megabytes micro SD card holds about 694,444 times more data than the standard 3.5 inch high density floppy disk. Fuck, we're old, man. Start to realize it's like, oh no. Yeah, it would be kind of cool, huh? Hassan says you could definitely disguise modern parts with that old classic PC stuff. I mean, it's kind of, like I said, with that guy, it's an interesting idea. With the idea of the floppy disks and stuff, but like for feasibility of backing up the games themselves. That kind of brings its own level of complications, but you know, still really cool. And creative. It just brought to me too many too many potential problems, and I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to so last week it was a funny little surprise that we were looking at PlayStation's trailers on their YouTube page, and I want to see if people are still continuing the trend, because a lot of their trailers on their YouTube page were getting downvoted and blasted, and it was so funny to see. Let's see if that trend is still continuing, because again, like I pointed out last week too, it's only if you have that downvote extension for your web browser that you can even see that, because a regular normal person just regularly viewing things, if they don't have that sort of stuff, they won't see it. So let's see, let's just start kind of checking things. This was just 28 minutes ago. All right, we're already seeing a climb there. The 280, the downvotes are taking it. Discs back or get lost. No game ownership, no discs, no buy. We need a lagoon of discs. Greed has no limits. Physical is everything. So we still got people. Let's check out the NBA here. Oh no, here we go. It updated. It got 620 to 461. Physical media for the win. Physical disc CD, please. 2K27 discs. We need physical discs. Let's see if the Tokon Magneto Cerebro. Gotta give it a moment to get all. Woo! 2.4K, 2.4 thousand, 2,400, whatever. Downvotes to 718 positive upvotes. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you could look at the like views and stuff like that, I'd imagine, and people go, wait, why isn't there more upvotes for this or something like that? You'd have to kind of wonder if people are kind of going, wait. Let's see, and maybe we'll take a look at this, the Wolverine trailer. Ooh, I don't know. Hang on. Gotta give it a moment. Make sure everything is loaded in. Ooh. 59,000 positive to 51 downvotes. You guys... You know who isn't the hero? Killer of physical. The disc is going to look awesome. Okay, now that's all right, so I guess this will be kind of the next topic. I did see a bit of misery here. Yeah, here it was. It's okay to love Marvel's Wolverine and still be mad at PlayStation. I think this is somebody that probably enjoys soy. Obviously, I'm not here to suggest that we can't be mad at PlayStation, because of course we're allowed to be. Somebody's bending the knee. The brand's decision to pursue an all-digital future and eventually end physical game disc production is exceedingly difficult to stomach, and I'm not going to pretend like it's something that that should be taken lightly. This is effectively one of the earliest signs of gaming as we've known it coming to an end, so that the digital age we've already accepted can encompass all things in full. That is a painful reality to embrace, no matter how much we've both willingly and ignorantly embraced it up to this point. However, regardless of how upset we are at PlayStation for being one of the first in the gaming industry to officially move into this future, it's okay to still love it. Look forward to games like Marvel's Wolverine. Even if they have Sony's name attached to them. I'm saying this because there seems to be this idea out there that you're not allowed to like anything made by PlayStation now. Well, how else are they gonna get the point across? They need a big kick in the balls, one way or another, and that includes a highly anticipated game. Is anybody really highly anticipating it right now? Like Marvel's Wolverine. Out of principle, you're expected to follow the herd and boycott PlayStation in all forms, even if it means outright refusing to buy the games you were genuinely interested in playing before all this mess happened. But the truth is that you and I can be excited about what Insomniac Games is doing with the iconic Claude Mutant and support the developers who spent years making the game, all the while believing that Sony is taking away an important form of ownership and consumer choice. Both of these philosophies can coexist, and if we really want to see PlayStation at least come to some sort of compromise, they desperately need to coexist. But then there are other issues that have been arisen when it comes to this Marvel Wolverine game, from certain gameplay features that we've seen in it that we took a look at when it came to like the regeneration and stuff like that. Then of course you have just the other things of uglification of certain characters when it came to like Jean Grey and stuff like that. And then of course Deborah Wilson being thrown in as that leader of, was it the Molochs, who has apparently gotten darker over the years. So there's other things that are going to be potentially a problem for Insomniac's the game here. Yeah, San says, dude, I'm checking those the vids too. Those downvotes are crazy. Static says Wolverine was gonna be tough to beat. Hassan says, dude, Sony dropped a new vid like 3 minutes ago. LOL, can we watch the drop live? Whoa, that was weird. Everything kind of froze up on me for a second there. That was weird. Okay, it's like I suffered a stroke suddenly. But yeah, anyways, like I said, there's gonna be other matters of this that'll be interesting. PlayStation's decision wasn't random but calculated. Right now there seems to be the three crowds, the no disc, no buy crowd, then the I'm boycotting PlayStation crowd, and the crowd who aren't speaking up because, to put it bluntly, they don't care. Well, that's just your normies, your casuals who are just not paying attention to this stuff like some of us are. That's just what it is. They just want to play video games. Two of these crowds are fine. No disc, no buy makes sense, but within the context of personal preference, as refusing to buy a game if it doesn't have a physical disc won't actually stop PlayStation from pursuing. But it isn't going to stop it one way or another. Yeah, Sony's going in the route that they want to go. but I am full behind everybody giving them the finger. The crowd who doesn't really care that what PlayStation chooses to do with its games because they'll buy and play them anyway is justified in its stance too, and the reasoning goes without explaining. However, those who are currently boycotting PlayStation because they think it will convince the brand to change its mind are quite honestly out of their own. Wow. No, I think they have every right to and should shout and give PlayStation hell for their bad decisions. Are they out of their mind? No. Just because it won't change their mind doesn't mean that they shouldn't speak up and, you know, have a stance against it. PlayStation's decision wasn't rash, and it was more than likely knew that announcing it would stir up immense controversy. Well, that's why they also went silent for like a week, a few days, or almost a week. I mean, there was something like that. There wasn't a meeting where some random board member had his crazy idea to kill physical media and everyone agreed. This decision was undoubtedly reached after PlayStation began. So this is kind of doing some simpery here. To be fence riding, you gotta ride them fences. And this is all stuff we've kind of already heard about, alleged costs of physical discs and stuff like that, blah blah blah. Even though like the original thing was digital was supposed to be cheaper, but that's been proven wrong now at this point. At the end of the day, simple math. I think everybody's doing some Scott Steiner math today. Is it fun with the results and an easy to stomach answer? No, but it's math. Successful boycott would have the. Like I said, this is now just kind of annoying me, and I kind of stopped caring now. At the end of the day, the game will speak for itself. Personally, I'm all for people boycotting one way or another. By all means, give these companies the finger, give them hell, make them know. And just because the game happens to be, is the game gonna be fully on the disc? That's then the big question right there. Sure, they could provide that physical media disc, that physical disc, but is the game actually on there? Can you play the game offline? That'll be something like, you know, does it play? That sort of an account we'll have to check. Wait for things like that. The big thing I'd say, the big thing, stop pre-ordering games if you do. Stop that. That'll be a big deterrent too. So, you know, with this Wolverine shit, I mean, you know, there's gonna be a lot of other things that are gonna be determining factors for people when it comes to this game, and we can head on over and we'll check out the trailer just to kind of lump this all together into one thing. Even though it's more talk about physical versus digital, I just kind of got annoyed at that guy. I thought my crap jokes gave you an aneurysm for a moment. No, it was just something kind of locked up and froze up for a moment. It was weird. But let's check out this trailer. Even though I'm kind of like bleh on the whole Wolverine thing, I wasn't sold on it, and like it is, I'll gladly go back and play the X-Men Origins Wolverine game probably before I'd even touch this, because I'm also not gonna get a PlayStation 5. I have no desire to, no matter what games they exclusively hold on to. So unleash the rage, confront the past. With the fate of humans and mutants hanging in the balance, Logan knows the world needs a hero. However, they'll have to settle for Wolverine. Experience thrilling set pieces throughout Wolverine's journey in his global fight for mutant survival. Just making sure. Okay. And let's make sure y'all can hear this. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this thing. Insomniac. Is that sad that they have to put that, the no actual gameplay?
Every fight. Every death. Try and hold on. I can feel it slipping away.
Okay, we're not getting the gameplay footage like we did before. This is a cinematic slop.
Who I am. Who I was. When that's gone, there won't be anything left except rage.
Why I'm not getting? I didn't get gameplay. I want gameplay. Why aren't you showing me gameplay? Like if if you're marketing your game, yeah, you can have the whole intermittent scenes to cut in, but you're not showing me gameplay. You're just showing me a flashy, fucking rendered bullshit cinematic. I don't care. See, this is why I blame Square Enix for a lot of this stuff, or Squaresoft, because that was a lot of their trailers too back in the day, and still to this day, where it's just a lot of cinematic slop, and they just overwhelm you, and it's like, oh, we're not gonna actually show you gameplay. We're just gonna like overwhelm you with our alleged good story and flashy cinematic scenes and stuff like that. That's how, so I'd say probably some of us were hoodwinked by Star Wars The Old Republic. Was there really cool cinematic trailers that they did that were really awesome, but it did not translate totally to the game. So yeah, I don't know what much else to say. And yeah, this is the latest trailer static that I'm aware of. Yeah, Static saying no gameplay with just under 2 months to go is a bad sign. Like the last trailer we had was the last thing that they showed, we had some gameplay, but we aren't seeing more. Like I need to see more gameplay to see how this is all actually gonna play out. Not, and especially not some fucking basically predetermined scenes to play out the gameplay to make it look flashy. Like, give me some raw gameplay. Act like some tester that's been playing the fucking thing, and like some actual legitimate scenarios. Not these, because even these gameplay trailers that they put out nowadays are basically pre-scripted. They're basically scripted scenes to show everything off in such a flashy way. And it's just like, this is bullshit. Give me the actual gameplay. We saw it back in the day with the Rainbow Six Siege and stuff like that. That was all scripted bullshit. Same with Cyberpunk 2077. The first goddamn trailer that they put out for that game with quote unquote gameplay was scripted shit. And it was exactly why I personally walked away from that game and was like, my hype has been killed. My hype has been killed. When you do stuff like that, I have been seeing enough of these trailers, enough of gameplay trailers for decades now. God, has it been that long? But so many, like, I can see the bullshit. And, oh, Fraction, you're just no, fuck you. I see the bullshit. I see what they are trying to play. The fucking little games that they like to pull with this sort of shit. The shystery bullshit. No. And you aren't showing me gameplay here? Go fuck yourselves. Tired of this, man. Anyways, your Wolverine slop comes September 15th, 2026. Enjoy it, I guess. Oh, fuck. But I do want to kind of go back to what Static had pointed out, you see the PS5 emulator in the works. I did see that. Yes, I did see. I don't know if I have those details though, because yeah, I did see on X. There was talks of a PlayStation 5 emulator. And hey, Nightmare, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're doing well today. Had fun playing some Halo with you last night. That was a blast, dude. Glad you got to join us too, because it seems like you haven't joined a lot of the, at least those community events, it feels like. But that was a blast. But let's see. So yeah, like just kind of going over to X here. I just kind of put in PS5 emulator. So this account, Ghost of Yote, reaching splash screen in Sharp Emu. This is fucking beautiful, bro. For real. So there are people, they are working on this, but I guess it reaches splash screen and conks out. Demon Souls remake running at 30 FPS in a PS5 emulator. Sharp Emu's latest progress shows stable 30 FPS. Every update makes PS5 emulator more exciting, so people are pushing to get a PS5 emulator up and running. Maybe when this gets more. Two brothers spent years solving networking problems for everyone else. Milo and Owen Schwartz. Oh, Schwartz, they say. Oh, God. Built connectivity system. Oh, that's something else entirely.
This video, I will show how.
But yeah, so people are trying to work on a PS5 emulator to get something up and running here. God bless you. I hope y'all I hope for the best. Using the Kite Tie PS5, there's another emulator as well, so keep your eyes out. It's gonna be working slowly but surely, probably. Static says AI is gonna make these emulators come around so much faster. We were just barely getting a PS4 emulator. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, you're not wrong. But it's gonna be crazy for sure. It'll be interesting to see what people are cooking up now. So eat shit, Sony. But yeah, so Wolverine and all that shit, fuck 'em. Playing those scenes are just spoilers to Static, and then said, well, that Cyberpunk trailer was before they had anything else. No, because I think they had put out the teaser trailers and stuff like that, and that was gameplay that they had been already, they hadn't put out. I don't know if that was after or if that was still before the whole Keanu push, because I know they had to change a lot of the game for bringing Keanu Reeves into the goddamn game. So yeah, but I mean, that was still to me such a, because CD Projekt Red had been already trying to promote themselves as such a for the gamers sort of company with like The Witcher 3 when they put out all those like thank yous and stuff like that. Like, no, man, I won't give any leeway on that shit personally. That to me, I was like, I just tapped. Hassan says, nice, I'll finally be able to play what exclusive games are on PS5 again. Nightmare says, last night was fun. I usually don't have the community event games. Yeah, you gotta join, if you can, join in on those more. They're fun as hell, dude. That's at least a great thing, because they usually do those the the games on Tuesday nights. So since that's my Friday, that's like a great way for me kicking off Fridays and everything, my Fridays. So it was a lot of fun. Nightmare saying Arkham Knight's gameplay trailer was basically 1-to-1 with the actual game. Oh, I don't remember Arkham Knight's trailers too much for gameplay. And then it says Modern Vintage Gamer has a good video on the PS5 emulator. Ooh, I'll have to check that out at some point. Static says, "Oh yeah, way before Keanu. When I saw the first trailer, I thought they made the whole thing before even writing a single line of code." No, because I don't think so, because they'd already been in development for that game for a while before they put out that first trailer. Because I remember the announcement, I remember being hyped. I was like, "Ooh, CD Projekt Red taking on the cyberpunk setting. That should be awesome." Son, I wish I could have been there too. I would have hunted you down relentlessly. The Melee's always put on a good time, and it was fun. Yeah, if only the PS5 had games. Yeah, Nightmare. I was getting popped by Alucard quite a bit as well, but I got him back a few times as well. I managed to get him and James quite a few times too. But yeah, this whole thing, like I'll laugh one way or another of PlayStation getting kicked in the balls. I'm always happy for that. Okay. So I make sure I got those links backed up too. I know people had a lot more to say about the Wolverine trailer. I just, like I said, I'm so over these kind of head games with this shit. Nightmare saying, yeah, you're better at it than me, Fractured. I never actually play Halo outside of those events. I mean, hey, like I had been for one in the previous community events for Halo, but I mean, I did supply any of my first-person shooter methods to that game, and that's, I mean, especially, I think I like the Halo 1 matches a lot more because I knew that the pistol was OP as shit. And so I could just use the pistol and get some good shots in and everything. But I've always had a love-hate, not even a love, just a and hate relationship with Halo, just because I haven't liked what Halo brought to the first-person shooter genre. Between the recharging the shields and just the kind of toggled auto aim and everything, bro. If they do like Unreal Tournament 2004, I'll be so all over that. Or I mean, maybe I'll have to like just nut up and start maybe kind of introducing some too, because hang on, yeah, Unreal Tournament 2004, when I worked at Electronic Arts, that was the game that we would play too during lunch breaks. Oh my god, so much stupid fun. And I got so good at the lightning gun, I was getting hated by some of the other team members. It was so, oh my god, Unreal Tournament 2. There'll have to be a community event or something like that for that. That would be so much fun. And that was because I was into Red versus Blue at the time. I went around with the name Caboose, and I was a blue Spartan, so I ran around like that. It was fun as hell. Static says pistol is my go-to. Nice. I still need to actually play through Halo 1. I've kept starting the damn game, but I've never completed it. I just never really got into it. I need to play through at least the mainline Halos. I said at the start of the stream, I need to actually go through those. Son, I'll take a day off work if it happens. Yep, good old Caboose. I've forgotten a lot of the lines now, so I couldn't repeat them, but like that's what I would do too, is like I'd even like type in the game chat some of the lines and just trying to mess with people and everything, mess with the other teams, because it was us on our team, and then there was like the others. There's what was it? Is the SimCity? Some of the people from the SimCity. God, which one was that? Societies, I think. SimCity Societies, and I forgot one of the other teams that was playing. Because I also ended up using something kind of inappropriate. I pissed off one of the other bosses, and then he yelled at my team lead. I was like, I'm sorry, I was just screwing around. Static says, let's do it. I've been wanting to play Halo through 3 for years. Yeah, I'll have to work up to 3. Like I said, I still need to get through 1. The only game, I said at the start of the stream, the only Halo I believe I've played all the way through, but like I didn't pay a great deal of attention to the story. I was doing co-op with some other people and everything, but I think I played through Halo Reach and maybe 4, and I played through a part of ODST. So time isn't in lines, it's like a circle. It's a circle like a clock. Okay, I think where are we at? Okay. I think we'll top this off here with this last article. This came to me, I was tagged, as so often started out, tagged into Melee Games Discord from Lighthaven, aka Sergey, about a rumor, and I hate rumors and stuff like that, but this one I feel I'll actually kind of go into. That's right, you gotta name your tank Sheila. That's a very important. But as I even said in the Melee's Discord, this is still a wait and see for me. But here it is. So I got tagged for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake trailer reportedly releasing soon. Like I said, it falls in the rumor territory. The second Knights of the Old Republic remake trailer is reportedly releasing soon. It's been almost 5 years since Sony Interactive Entertainment, Aspire Media, and Lucasfilm Games announced a remake of one of the best RPGs ever made. A year later, in 2022, it was announced that Aspire Media was off the project, replaced by an in-house Saber Interactive team. To date, there has been no additional information on the project, nor any follow-up trailer. It's actually led some to believe that the game has been canceled, but it has not. I am still doing my dance of cancellation. I do not want this to come to light. This is the worst thing that could, because like it is, we've heard nothing but basically a doomsday scenario with this. With some of the people that have been behind it, and yes, now they're gone, but they still put in for rewriting the whole storyline, or yeah, rewriting the story. That you don't need to rewrite the story. You just use the script that you had. All you had to do is maybe all you had to do was freshen up the game. Maybe change the gameplay style and stuff like that. I know, but I mean, especially, but like with the whole Expedition 33 kind of bringing back the idea of turn-based combat, you guess do what they did. But anyways, recently Saber Interactive seemingly teased the long-awaited Star Wars remake was releasing in 2028, which would itself suggest a reveal trailer is on the horizon. On the back of this news, YouTube channel 100% Star Wars is reporting that the remake is going to be re-revealed this year. However, they also note this reveal may end up being delayed to 2027. And if the remake is not releasing until 2028, the latter certainly seems more likely. It kind of feels like sources, trust me, bro. Potential 2027 trailer date. It remains unclear if KOTOR remake is still going to be a PS5 exclusive. That would kill this game. That would absolutely kill this game, which I'd be happy with. By all means, kill your fucking stupid game, your stupid remake, because basically them rewriting it was basically like what Square did with Final Fantasy VII. They're rewriting the story, except I guess they were doing stupid multiversal tier bullshit in the Final Fantasy VII remakes. If these things are still true, then it's probably going to resurface at a PlayStation State of Play. Unfortunately, we don't know when the next one of these shows even is, let alone which could show up at. Beyond this, December 10 is also another possibility, and this is because December 10th is the Game Awards 2026. Oh, for fuck's sake. If anyone was going to let this reveal happen outside of a State of Play, this is really the only other place it would permit it to happen. Often Sony gives Jeff Keighley one reveal per show, but certainly not always. Yeah, but don't they still also have to pay like $1 million fucking dollars just to get their however many little short ass trailers to get on there? Thankfully for all parties involved, it does not matter when Star Wars The Old Republic reappears. If it happens in 2026, 2027, or 2040, there's going to be interest in a remake of one of the great RPGs of all time and the best Star Wars game ever made. And this could very well work against the project being revealed anytime soon, because there is far more incentive to get this remake right than to rush it out into the market. This game already has a ton of sunk costs that will be made back if the remake comes out, and it's excellent. That said, remember to take this new information with a grain of salt. It is not official information, and even if it's accurate, it's shrouded in uncertainty and subject to change. So, well, that's basically, you know, like I said at the start of this, and I mean, I'm guessing, what was that? 2 days ago was kind of a slow news day for these places to report on something like this. I will still always keep an eye on anything to do with the KOTOR remake, just because I know that, you know, that is a game that is, I love it to death, like so many other people, and I do not want this remade. I don't think it needs it. I just think all you have to do is slap in some mods and you're good to go. Yes, the turn-based kind of D&D RNG style, whatever, kind of goofy at times, yeah. But again, that's where even like the community has released patches and stuff like that, and makes it, you know, makes it a little more refined. And then just get like updated textures and stuff like that. The voice acting is still top notch. And also, like it is, we don't have the full voice cast, that some aren't even alive anymore, unfortunately. The voice actor for Candaris Ordo, the most badass Mandalorian out there, had unfortunately passed away. So if you are rewriting the script and everything, then that would mean you'd need new voice lines, but unfortunately you wouldn't get that, because like I said, that actor had passed on. And I believe, yeah, I think also, yeah, we lost the actor Edward Asner, who voiced Master Vrook. And I'm just getting, hang on. John Saigon, who voiced Candaris Ordo. So we would not have like even our full cast anymore. God damn it, Nightmare. Says, don't worry, we always have Pedro Pascal, you bastard. Mike C. the Scout says, only thing about this KOTOR remake that excites me is Synthetic Man's potential review. His Outlaws review is my favorite. Yeah, I mean that I will always enjoy a good Synthetic Man review. So I can see that as being some entertaining fodder for him, especially as I hang on, who was that writer? I'm trying to remember her name. Sam Maggs, who was notably known for making a ridiculous interview about GTA and being raped in GTA digitally. Like, fuck off, lady. And she's made other hellacious bullshit stuff when it comes to the gaming. And she's basically, like, I think got herself, like, self-inserted as basically the face model for Black Cat in Insomniac's Spider-Man games. Which is why Black Cat has that severe man jaw going, or that wicked weird, man jaw going on. But yeah, so I'll definitely look forward to something like that. Synthetic Man just ripping into it, because like I said, she was part of the project and then had left, but she was still part of the rewriting team. So for all we know, her stuff is still included in the game, or would be included in the story, unless they took another different direction, which we haven't heard anything about. And to a certain extent, as far as we knew, it was dead in the water. So that's the curiosity to all of that. And like I said, I'll always be keeping an eye on this. Yeah, Nightmare, you're not wrong. Sam Maggs is a woman who chooses to look transgender. You are not wrong there, sir. So, yeah, I'm really hoping that this is still a thing that will not happen, but if it does, yeah, I'm with you, Mike. The Synthetic Man review will be probably peak. I'm actually gonna be probably looking forward to his Wolverine review now that you mentioned Synthetic Man. I'll be looking forward to his Wolverine review. I mean, at the same time, he's generally fair if the gameplay is good and stuff like that. He'll just then call out all the paused bullshit that's in the storylines. So, I mean, and he does play the games. He doesn't just talk shit. He plays this crap and keeps subjecting himself to the horrors. But we'll see. But like I say, I'll still be doing my dance of cancellation, and I hope it's dead in the water. I'm hoping it's dead in the water. So yeah, there's that. Another little story there. Okay. Let me just get that saved really quick. All right. Well, we've almost hit the 3 mark, but I think I will be calling it there. Kind of still feeling a little tired. I think I need another cup of coffee. Already shouldn't have drank all my energy drinks yesterday, but I needed to be ready for the Melee event. And if you want to, please do go over to that video, check it out. It was a lot of fun last night. And I have everyone's links in that video too, of that stream, so you can also follow everyone that was playing and taking part. It was a blast. But otherwise, yeah, so here we go. So big thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you, Nightmare. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Mike C. the Scout, Static 2020, Real Wade Nation Gaming. Appreciate it as always. Yeah, glad you could drop on by. Says Nightmare says later, man. Glad I caught you for a few minutes. Hassan with the GG peeps. And yeah, I'm debating now with all this Halo talk of doing a Halo stream and finally starting playing through that. So we'll see how that goes and what I decide to do. I have the thumbnail already. I just need to actually decide when I want to play it. So keep an eye out, or I'll be getting back to either Twilight Princess or San Andreas. We'll see. But again, a big thank you to everybody for being here. Always appreciate it. You have a great day, and I will catch y'all later. Bye-bye.